Hey everyone, so future 2026 Hansi here. Just wanted to do kind of like voiceover. As I mentioned, I recorded a lot of this process of creating Worn Out. This video is in 2019, talking about some of the coming up with the name, the branding ideas, a lot of business talk. So now, I can watch it over, give some voiceover, some context. Like I said, I definitely changed as a person. I'm very ambitious, very confident here, trying to, look like a businessman, which is funny. But yeah, and, can provide more detail as well with what I was thinking back then. So let's get into it.
All right, everybody. So today is going to be more of a business kind of branding talk, I guess, if you will. My first couple videos, I don't know what number this one's going to be, but the first one I kind of talked about that overall idea of the brand and everything, how I wanted to represent the individual and people kind of tired and stuff about societal norms or anything of effect, anything in the matter of fact. So the name of the company that I decided to go with is Worn Out with an A. And I decided that name, one, because it fits the purpose of being tired or exhausted or worn out, in effect, of whatever it is that you are, and tired of societal trends, of complacency, of thinking you need to be somebody that you're not, or trying to put out there into the world that's something you don't necessarily believe in. I've been tired of the manufacturer and tired of trends and stuff like that. So I think the name can fit a lot, but I decided to go with the A because these people can, send out that message to more and kind of spread the overall kind of message of the brand to other people. Maybe there's some...
Might sound a little confusing, but I think other people, as in other individuals who kind of think this way, who are tired of, the norm, complacency, they also typically have like-minded friends that are like that, or, their inner circle is very free spirit, I guess you could say. Like, someone goes left, we're gonna go right type deal. Close-knit groups as well, so some background there.
Who are already, I know there's people who follow this like I do, my friends and everything like that, and people who try to, bring that energy into others and everything. But there's some people that, aren't necessarily strong enough, or they don't know if they should do it yet, or maybe, they're still...
This is a good point, too. There's definitely people that think this way, but they might be scared as far as being their true self, or that they might not fit in, they might be looked at differently. And not saying from like an insecurity standpoint, just there's a lot of pressure in society and what everything thinks you should be doing. So
looking at it from a point of would I be accepted and stuff like that. So I think it's something that the people who can, or who are already portraying this message, should be able to help others do that as well. So that's why I kind of went with that, and it fits everything. And being worn out, like, we're all unique and we're all our own individual person. There's something special about all of us. None of us are alike, and I think we need to kind of portray that. And with clothes, it's almost like wearing your personality, in a sense, on the outside of you to showcase to the world. So I like clothing, I like the fashion, and I think being able to spread a good message with good designs, and basically with them being one-of-one designs, one-offs for on a huge scale, I think that ties in with everything and would be pretty cool to do. So that's basically what the company is, and I guess I'll show you guys kind of my idea, I guess, mapping of it, because it definitely wasn't an easy thing to come up with, naming a business. A lot of people show it that, oh, you know, this just popped into my head, so I'm gonna go with this and everything. But there's multiple things I thought of, trying to, whether I should use like an actual name, putting stuff together, a meaning of a word that's already kind of been out there and stuff. So there's a lot that I didn't realize that really went into it, and it has not been easy. So one of my good friends really helped me out with this. And so here, you probably see this whiteboard behind me now, but I'll show you guys. Okay. So this, I don't know, I might end up blurring out some of this or something, but so up here, this was kind of, messaging that I wanted to go with in this.
This was in a spare bedroom closet of my parents' house. That was kind of like my office. It was, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 feet by another 6 or 7 feet. Basically just had this desk, a little bit of room before the door, and some room behind me, but you can see the clothes and stuff. So this whiteboard is still there. Now I'm in mine and my girlfriend's house, so more room, but totally unrelated from the back to the business stuff.
Since, everything that I talk of is kind of in here. Some ideas of, shorter sentences and trying to tie the overall message together.
I do think this is an important fact of, not even just coming up with a name, but basically like brain dumps. For me, I'm a visual person. I need to get things out and see them and take a look and really just like digest everything that's going on in my mind. And this was how I kind of did that. And then of course, like consolidate it into more meaningful, more easily digestible, like parts of the process to do. But yeah, a lot of things going on here.
Here's kind of my launch strategy I'll talk about in I'll make that another video because that might be kind of long. Then this is kind of like my social media marketing strategy and everything like that.
A lot of this stuff did change too, to keep in mind. Multiple pivots as far as the launch, the audience, like the target audience of the brand, core messaging, name, values, all the same, and will continue to be the same.
Up there, I'm not going to show it, but I have a whiteboard of to-do lists. Sorry, it's kind of messy too. If you can't tell, I'm in a closet of a spare bedroom. This was a timeline that I tried to follow as closely as possible, but due to certain things, not every...
Man, almost 7 years later, huge LOL there. I don't know. I need to watch more of these videos. It's like, what took so long? Actually, the first video of like why I created the newer vertical form, the most recent one that I made, does talk about some of that stuff, like website stuff, developers, man, that was a huge deal. Financial, of course, like life, just so many things led to delays.
Everything is perfect. Some products that I wanted to go with, more messaging, trying to tie everything together. This whiteboard I'm probably going to blur out, but on the right, basically, I had designs. This green was not necessarily messaging, but the concept that I wanted to use in the name, a more logical and descriptive kind of aspect to the name. This red or maroon part was the overall messaging, more on a emotional side. These blue ones down here were kind of name ideas, so you can see that there's a lot there, and then different kind of mission statements I was testing as well. So I put these up just trying to gather ideas and everything. And then I kind of, did some more research, got some opinions and stuff, and I really ended up with, you can see right there, worn out. My thinking behind everything and my thought process. So if you're trying to name a company, try to, I guess, come up with a bunch of different names. Get opinions on them and stuff as well. But as far as, there's different types of names. You can Google this. I'm not going to go into everything, and I'm not a professional by any means. As you can tell probably. So, like with this brand, I actually wanted to execute correctly what it means. So anybody could start a clothing line, a clothing company, whatever, especially now with e-commerce websites and stuff. But a lot of these people, they do the drop shipping thing. They find products, they slap a logo on it, they write a message and a mission statement, and wear this is what that means. I don't want to do that. I want the designs, the clothing, I want it to all be in a line with the message, but actually, do it. That's why I want them all to be different, like people. I want, when someone sees one of the designs or the name or something, they're like, oh wow, it's a conversation starter. That's pretty cool. There's none other like it in a sense. So that's why I want the visual aspect to go along with the emotional aspect. And that's, I think I can do that. And hopefully everybody will, support it, will like it, and feels the same way as that. So it hasn't been easy for sure. There's still a lot of things going on, trying to get everything finished up. So yeah, that was kind of my thought process behind coming up with the name and everything. Like I said, it was more of a business branding kind of talk. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Hopefully these are getting more entertaining. It's been weird talking to a camera for sure. I don't know. I give vloggers a lot of credit going out in public doing this. It's definitely it's interesting to say the least. But hopefully you guys gain something from that. And if you are trying to come up with a name, it wasn't super easy, especially for me, because I'm sort of a perfectionist. I don't know if you could tell already, but I know my friends, family watching this, whoever, you guys probably know. But so having a good name to me really meant a lot, and I don't really want to ever have to rebrand or anything like that. So that was my thought process, having something meaningful in the messaging within the name, knowing someone gets that first impression. But there's multiple ways you can name a business. So, but yeah, you have the descriptive ones, you have the names that you like, an actual name, and then the physical description or definition of that name, and using that you make up a name or abbreviations. There's multiple abbreviation names, a lot of stuff. So this is how I thought of mine, and that's the process I went into. I want it to be short and still mean something. And you got to remember too, in the 21st century now, that you have the internet, and a lot of people, that's how good businesses are found. So I wanted to keep it somewhat short and simple, but SEO friendly, when someone's looking. Of course, like, this doesn't really tie in too much with, it doesn't say individual or.
That's what I mean as like a descriptive business name too. Like, one that's coming off the top of my head is something like, I think it's called Smile White or Smile Bright, like teeth whitening stuff. So, when someone's like searching a description or terms of what they're actually looking for, parts, or if not the whole thing of all those terms or names is the actual like business itself. Or dentists, like sometimes dental practice business names are like city dentist. That's basically what I mean by descriptive.
Custom or one of one or whatever. I could have named it all those, but I don't think that in a sense also went with the messaging, like being different and unique and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't pick those kind of common, very descriptive definition names. That's why I like this one. But it encompasses a lot of different meanings. You could be worn out of anything, whatever you choose to be, and spread a positive message to others. But yeah, so trying to rank for the terms and stuff like that, or the descriptions that tie in with the name. However you really want to go about naming your business, and I read one blog, I don't know who it was either Seth, I think it was Seth Godin's blog, but he was talking about naming, and this was when I was really thinking about the naming. I was writing different names, seeing how they looked and stuff, and I saw his blog. It came into my email inbox. Shout out Seth Godin. But it talked about naming,
marketer,
and like I said, the very common descriptive names you could have, or you could create a name, and it's more powerful in kind of making your own word in a sense. People, it's more memorable, I feel like, and when someone sees that, it's just like they'll automatically think of your brand and your business. So yeah, I hope you guys got something from this. Continue watching. I'd appreciate it, and sticking on this journey with me, and we'll see what happens. So stay tuned in the next one. See ya.
Nice. Well, yeah, as you can see, very, very strong in the business, branding, naming talk. But it's cool watching these over. Like, it really fuels my excitement to continue pushing. And I mean, this is what now, almost 7 years post this. And that wasn't even like the start. That was just when I started recording of trying to like financially build this thing. The concept or idea now in 2026 happened like 12 or 13 years ago. So it's about time. But yeah, would appreciate you guys to keep watching them. Like I said, hopefully this helps somebody. I would stay up and watch kind of videos like this and taught myself a bunch of things. There's a lot of stuff that I wish I did know back then. So maybe I can provide that for some people. I don't know. But yeah, continue to watch. I'd appreciate it. And see you in the next one.